Welcome back to SL Chennai Speaks Out. Our bank loans a debt trap, Banamati. The do not call registry is to prevent any nuisance, telemarketing calls, unsolicited inquiries, marketing inquiries. Is that a farce? Because to register on the do not call registry, you have to wake up the sleeping lion, disclose all your details, and then it doesn't work. Despite being registered, a lot of people say that they still get these telemarketing inquiries.
There are banks which have robust do not call registries, wherein you just have to place a call with the organization, and they make every effort to ensure that you do not get proactive marketing calls. There are banks which have evolved this over a period of time, and there have been customers who have been put in this list, and there is a cycle time before which that is effected.
How many of you have registered on do not call and still have got calls? Banamati?
Okay. So there is a possibility. Like I said, it's an evolving process.
Or the customer can make an easy way out. You just say you are either unemployed or retired. Then next minute they put the phone down. That's the easiest way out.
There's a thing called platinum card and gold card are coming, and people don't know about that, and the agencies with the coons are coming only, and we will not get any calls from banks and all, but they are coming, sir, you take this, you will have benefits, you will have some
So
benefits.
goons are actually marketing also. What about you? You were talking about some experience you had.
Yeah, like my mom was, at home. She's a housewife, and these people usually approach at 2 in the noon or 12 in the noon when everybody is out of the one, and the female,
The ladies are alone at home. Okay.
housewives are there, and basically 3-4 fellows came, and it was very irritating for her. I mean, she cried. To that extent, she was mentally, tortured and stuff. So, for these, don't we have a place where we can go in for a case?
So go to
or
Mr.
something
Rajan,
like
sir, they can approach the police in these cases immediately.
Many a time we get a call, immediately we react.
Okay, we can also tell you what the bank name is, and action will be against the banks.
We take action. I have done myself so many times.
Sometimes this vicious cycle of debt also applies to banks. Yes. Now, when there are a large number of defaulters in a particular bank, that particular bank's NPAs go up, non-performing assets. And in order to sort of steady the ship in a sense, they have to resort to higher interest rates, stricter penalties.
See, before going to that point, I want to say only one point.
No, answer this first and then you.
Yes. Because liability, the public, they are supposed to pay, and most of them are paying. The defaulters are less. Comparing to you said there are so many millions of cards used a year. Majority of them are paying.
No, 40% of them pay only the minimum balance.
Minimum balance, only banks profit by minimum balance. For example, I am taking a card. If I am supposed to pay the entire amount within 45 days or 60 days, bank don't benefit. Only when a public is going for a minimum due, the bank largely benefit. They get about 50 to 60% of interest they are having from.
It's like the East India Company.
Due. See, our association.
We never say that don't pay the full money. They want to pay only.
Our association made a study. Suppose if a particular person resorts to minimum due payment, he has to pay minimum 25 years to clear this account.
25 years.
25 years.
No.
His lifetime will go by the
Why
time.
Why wouldn't you look
Because
at it as a
they will,
convenience?
see, for example, if you go for that over limit, they will add up 10 rupees above the over limit charge, and they will charge 250 rupees for over limit fee. And suppose if you are paying a check, they purposely delay it and they put late payment charge 500 rupees. So this type of hidden charges, they add up fees and charges. That way banks make plenty of
Those
money.
kind of things
and
happen.
by credit card, I will say definitely no bank has any incurs loss. Banks may be incurring loss by advancing, as my learned friend said, some larger industrial new proposals, things like that they may lose. But by credit card and personal loan, banks only they make profit, they don't
Okay, then
lose
the student
any
behind, yeah.
What about other students who are in the age limit of 20 to 25 age? They don't have any idea. What about counseling?
Your
of them?
relationship managers in the banks, do they serve that purpose?
I mean, even when the products are offered to you, it is your prerogative to get into the specifics of what is being offered. And it would be like Sanjay just shared, it would be the relationship managers who can come right at your doorstep. And that's when you make the most of, understanding that, and you need not decide
Are
right
there more
then.
relationship managers or recovery agents?
Why would you look at a recovery agent at the time of even, soliciting?
No, I'm just asking you out of
requirement?
curiosity, do banks have more relationship managers or recovery agents?
Definitely more relationship managers.
Really?
Definitely.
In fact, it is wrong. They have more.
It depends, if you have planned your finances well and if you're paying on time, then there is no need for you to even, be interacting with a recovery person.
I know friends who live abroad for 15 days of the month. They, you know, obviously the time zones, 10-hour difference between America and India. They get calls in the middle of the night there from some, you know, weird direct selling agent trying to palm off some credit card. They are disturbed in the middle of the night, despite being registered on Do Not Call registry. Also, the databases are sold. Would you agree? Databases are sold. If you go to fill up a feedback form in a restaurant, you give out unwittingly your mobile number, you'll get a call the next day. Lucky dip bowls in supermarkets, you give out, put your visiting card, you get out. All this databases are sold.
Mobile companies, not the banks.
But banks also use
where
this.
do they get the
Banks also use banks. How do you all get databases?
See, database one would be predominantly our own existing customers.
Purely intelligence
That
based.
would be, yeah.
Market intelligence.
As far as mobile number to trap the customers, easily you get it from somewhere, right? Without knowing the name when you call
7
them.
rupees a number, it's sold.
Yeah, numbers are sold. When you call up, no, when you call up, sir, we are calling from so and so bank and we have sanctioned 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees personal loan to you. Sir, we are offering a best credit card to you. Can I get your name and address, please? They don't know without the person's biodata. They just get it. No, sir, we got a number from the.
I was alone at home studying, and my father was. That's the main reason we got into financial problems in the first place, because he had like a heart attack or something. He had gone for his checkup. There's this woman named Priya who came and don't flash any ID or anything. So she had come home with another man who was supposedly a thug, and she was behaving like a woman thug herself. She just barged into the house. Our maid was like sweeping the living room. She just barged into the house, and then she's demanding like, I know you're there, I mean, where are they, and blah, blah, blah. And she's saying, we'll get them arrested and all that, and the maid had to literally beg them to leave. And then the next day, they come and claim that they never did any such thing, and like, I was terribly frightened and stuff like that. And then the same guy comes a few days later, this so-called thug, and he like screams at me, and I started crying. I was really very scared. And they started creating a racket downstairs and, quoting our amount, how much we owe the banks and stuff like that. And they even got the neighbors' numbers and, telling them that we should pay them this much amount and all that.
So the idea is to embarrass, and Ferdinand as a criminal lawyer as well. The trend of banks trying to even use the law to harass customers, like for instance, what are essentially civil disputes, are converted into criminal cases, and the courts have repeatedly frowned upon this practice.
That's what I was saying. In spite of being specific directions from various courts, the banks don't follow the due process of law. They take law into their own hands when it comes to recovery, and they make sure that they try to pressurize the customers as much as possible. But here, what the customers have to do is immediately, now they have to immediately call the cops. Like what Mr. Rajendran was saying, they are at their doorsteps at the next minute. So they call them, and they are there to save them from all those things. Definitely, whatever tactics which the bank is adopting is not recognized by law.
By the time everything's said and done, why is that they discourage pre-closure of these loans? I don't get it. I mean, people say that if you keep paying them, anyway, you'll not get into trouble. Why are they discouraging pre-closure? What is the funda behind it?
It's not about discouraging pre-closure. There might be a retention effort that happens. However, if the customer is very clear that he wants to close, definitely there is an option to go ahead and do that. In fact, for a credit card, it's done on the phone.
In the US, for instance, you have the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. In India, there is no specific law. It's governed by the Negotiable Instruments Act, the Banking Services
we go to
Act.
the IPC or the basic criminal law is what is there. We do not have anything specific for this. And well, the strong arm tactics is what we have been talking about. It's mainly because the lending agencies have a target to lend, and the recovery agencies have a target to recover. So each one tries to outdo the other. That leads to this cross.
Methodologies, legal recovery, the banks are abusing. I'll say, for example, 138 Check Bounce Act. A person is bouncing a check in Chennai, but they are filing a case in Bombay, Delhi, or Calcutta, and they are sending notices or summons from Bombay or Delhi. And sometimes they issue warrant from the Bangalore court or Bombay court, and it comes to commissioner office straight away. From the commissioner office, it comes straight to the local station. Local station, somebody is going to the particular person's house and saying, you got warrant. And they go, in number of our association members got warrant call. Morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock, they are going, and the bank people are taking the cops to the doorsteps of the customers. And at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, they are saying, we got a warrant, you come to the station. Arbitration Act also abused by the banks. For example, arbitration, a person borrows here in Chennai, but the arbitrator is appointed in Delhi or Bombay or in Calcutta, and they are calling a customer from Chennai to Calcutta or Bombay for a maybe loan may be some 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees. They are called up from here to Delhi to attend the arbitration proceedings.
This is clear harassment.
It's a clear harassment.
Well, if you call it as harassment, maybe on the legal side, they have approached the code of law and the arbitration and have asked for the appointment of arbitrator.
He's making a distinction. He's making either the banks use strong arm tactics using gundas, or they abuse the process of law to harass people. That's the distinction.
It's the use of law. We're not abusing the law. We only do what is given in the law.
You're filing cases in other cities, like you have statutory warnings on cigarette packs. Huh? Do you also believe that banks should also? Do you believe that banks should also have something like EMIs are maybe injurious to your financial health?
Of course. Fine, sir. The banking system has got different loan system applicable for the economy and all this. See, when the government can write off 1 lakh crores towards farmers' loan, why don't they want 1 lakh crores for the benefit of these students who are hoping for studies in the life in the form of the education loan?
And they have this bucket system, so-called bucket system. In that bucket system, first bucket they will be soft, second will be a little more harsh. So also they use mild gundas, harsh gundas, and hardcore gundas. Finally,
till he kicks the bucket.
Kick the bucket.
Yes, sir. Final verse of the cop. Final verse from the senior officer.
We live for tomorrow. Indian society lives for tomorrow, not for today. That is where recession not affected us. Number one. Number two, what we understand is we are all discussing about 3 things. One is credit card, the other one is home loan, the third one is vehicle loan. These are 3 areas where MNC has dominated and exploiting everybody. One side. On the other side, if they are choosy about the customer, what they want. Now there is hectic competition. In the milli, they can't choose customers. They want to go for more profit, they go for statistics. As a result, they make mistakes and people suffer. But you can be very choosy about the whole thing and get yourself enlightened about the procedure, about the banking. And I want you to help the bank to grow. So the nation will grow.
That's all the time we have for. Thank you very much for joining us. Clearly, customers can be choosers when it comes to their banks. And always remember, in fact, most of our panelists and our audience have said this, that a loan can in fact be like a double-edged sword. It may ease your present, but it may hurt your future. And before you think of getting those multiple credit cards, always remember you have just one salary packet. Thank you very much for joining us on ASL Chennai Speaks Out. We'll join you at the same time next week.